right, welcome back. Nice job on your work on Monday. I left feedback for you, and if you look in the agenda, you'll be able to look at even more feedback other than what I left you in Amplify. So make sure you take a look at your feedback in Amplify so that you get a better idea of what you did right and what you can improve on. Today, we are going to read a article called Atomic Zoom In. Okay, by the end of the lesson, you're going to be able to ask questions and obtain information about what are called atoms. So your deliverables are right up here in red. I'm going to be looking for 3 annotations in the article, a Canvas discussion post from you, and the homework. I will check for your annotations. I'm going to participate in the discussion, and I will leave feedback to you regarding your homework. All right, I would like you to go in and try the warm-up. There's just one question. You can pause the video and come back and go on into the lesson with me. All right, we're going to watch a quick video, and this is going to be about atoms. The investigation question, remember, in this chapter is why do different substances have different properties? So I'm going to play the video. It's about 1.5 minutes long.
Look at this butterfly. Ever wonder what it's made of? This butterfly, this picnic table, and this water are all made of atoms. Everything is made of atoms. Atoms are too small to see. They are so small that scientists can only make images of atoms using the most powerful microscopes in the world. Still, we know everything is made of atoms. Scientists use models like these to represent atoms. If you could observe things that small with your eyes, you could look around and see that all matter is made of atoms. For example, water is made up of atoms. This model shows atoms joined together in groups called molecules. Water molecules are made of hydrogen and oxygen atoms. What about this table? It's made of wood. But what type of atoms make up wood? Wood is made up mostly of hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon atoms. Even the air we breathe is made up of atoms. Air on Earth is made up of mostly nitrogen and oxygen molecules, and those molecules are made of atoms. Now, when you look at the world around you, try to remember that atoms make up everything you see, even you. You're made of atoms too. Every single thing is made up of atoms and nothing else.
Okay, so the question is, what questions do you have about atoms? One of the things that I heard was that atoms make up everything. As you do the activities today, you're going to ask questions about atoms. You watch the video. Now we're going to go into the reading. So I'd like you to go into activity 2 on page 2. Open up Atomic Zoom In. That's the name of the article for today. And I'd also like you to open up your online notebook, and I'd like you to put the word scale in. In the last unit that we had, we talked about macro scale and we talked about molecular scale. Remember, the relative size of things is different. Macro scale are what we can see with the naked eye. Molecular scale, we talked about, we can't even see that with a microscope usually. When we talk about atoms are even smaller than molecules. So atoms make up molecules. So when you're thinking about molecules today and asking questions about atoms today, think about the fact that atoms are even smaller than molecules. But I'd like you to put in scale, the relative size of things. All right, we're going to focus on deeper understanding, and we're going to focus on questioning today because there are a lot of things that we probably wonder about atoms. This is what the video looks like, or not the video, the article looks like, so hopefully you've found it. We are going to annotate with questions. So when I look at the title, Atomic Zoom In, comparing substances at a very small scale, I already have a question just from the title, and that's, can scientists see atoms? From what I talked about just a couple minutes ago, you probably can think about the answer to that, but that's a really good question. Like, how small is a single atom? All right, I'm going to read the first paragraph to you, and then I'm going to let you continue on into the article. Imagine you're eating breakfast. The wooden table you're sitting at is hard, your orange juice smells sweet, and the sugar in your sugar bowl is white. The day has just begun, but you've already come in contact with many substances, each of which has its own set of properties. What is it that gives these substances their properties? To understand where these differences come from, scientists observe substances at a very small scale, much smaller than we can observe in our daily lives. Let's zoom in and see what we can find. All right, so my question, you can see that I highlighted in here, the question I have annotated was, what are the smallest things scientists are able to observe? All right, so remember, when you read, think carefully about what you're reading. You want to highlight and annotate questions, or it could be notes. Make sure that you look at the pictures, and we are going to do something a little bit different with our discussions after you've read. So I'd like you, for the first time, to go through, read the article Atomic Zoom In, come up with at least 3 questions or thoughts you have about atoms. That's what I'm going to look for when you turn this in. So you can pause the video and come back when you're finished. All right, instead of discussing annotations, we're going to do a student-to-student discussion a little bit differently. So activity 3, we're not going to do what it says in Amplify. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to add in a couple definitions before we go and do the discussion. Atoms are the tiniest pieces that all matter, all the stuff in the world, is made of. And a substance is something that is made of all the same atoms or groups of atoms. So you can go into your online notebook, pause the video, and type in the definitions of these 2 words. Okay, go to Canvas. I'm going to show you where to go. I'd like you to post 1 or more of your questions, and I'd like this to take the place of activity 3 so that we can have student-to-student discussions with posts. So in Canvas, if you go to our Canvas homepage, go to the left-hand side of the screen to discussions, click on that, and then I have pinned a discussion, okay, and that's this discussion today, which is, and I'll change this, it should be activity 3, not activity 2, but we're going to post in here questions that you have, and we're going to see if anybody can reply to your post with maybe an answer to the question you have. We've done this a few times already. I'm going to go down, and in activity 1.2 on Tuesday, some of you followed directions very well, and you were supposed to post questions about how would life be different without access to clean water. So as I kind of scroll down, you can see that Evan, wrote down a question, and I was a part of this post. We have Alec, Michelle, Veronica, Marissa. So good job to anybody who went in and did that the last time, but I'd like you to go in and I'd like you to put in a question that you have about atoms that you think may or may not be able to be answered. Okay, so I would like you to right now go in and do that, please. And I will make sure that I respond to some of your posts, and hopefully some other people also respond to some of your posts also. All right, I have an optional activity. It's the investigation question, remember, for this chapter is, why do different substances have different properties? What I'd like you to maybe do is draw and annotate a picture that helps answer this investigation question with what we've learned. You can use the evidence from the text to help you draw your picture. Then I'd like you to use your Chromebook to take a photo of your picture and send it to me. It might help if you put it in a Google Doc. I'd like to add some of those pictures to Friday's lesson so you can see what some people's ideas were about the answer to this question in a drawing. But this is optional. All right, last thing you're going to do is the homework. Okay, you're going to rewatch the video atoms, and then you have a scale tool that you can open up in the homework to help you answer the question. I will give you feedback on your question. As always, do your best, forget the rest, and I will see everyone on Friday.